welcome to another episode of Prop Talk. I'm your host, Mikey Trudel. And with us today, first of all, I got to give a shout out to Remy De La Mora on the boards.
Buenos dias.
There he is, helping us out again today. But it's a very special episode. We got some people here I've been trying to get here for a long time, and that is the oldest prop house, not only in Los Angeles, but I think the world. We got Earl Hays, the people from Earl Hays Press here, and we got Keith Hernandez and Martin Armenta, the co-owners of Earl Hays Press, and then we have the art department manager, Kim Berens. Did I say all your names right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Welcome, guys. How's it going today?
Yeah, it's going good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said before you guys got here, or before we started recording, that it's actually busy now and stuff like that.
It's busy, which is great. Yeah, we're loving it.
Yeah, which has been tough for the industry recently because we've gone through a lot of hardships in the past couple of years.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think who got hit hardest is most of the vendors.
Yeah, exactly. It was rough. Year and a half almost, right?
Yeah.
8 months last year.
Yeah, the last 7 months last year, it was bad.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah?
bad.
Worse than COVID, or?
Yeah,
Worse
than COVID. Yeah, because I think COVID
Yeah.
we were shut down, like 4 months?
Yeah.
And then this one was about 7-8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah. So with the strikes, because with COVID, we were down for maybe a couple months, and then shows started trickling back in at least a little bit as they came up with guidelines. So at least you still had some stuff.
Actually, Canada was the first one to call us back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Canada.
productions in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had a few productions, property masters call us and was like, hey, can you guys start shipping stuff to us?
Oh, interesting.
Before we were even allowed to reopen. So technically, we were working with the door shut. For about a month,
And was it did you have to break down your crews a little bit? And
it was rough.
Yeah. Oh, you could say that, but
yeah. I think Kim was the first one back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was by myself for a while.
Yeah. Kim was the only graphic designer in our art department when we came back.
Yeah.
Was it enough workload to overwhelm you, or
it started off really slow. So I had only worked at Earl Hays Press for 4 months before the pandemic.
Oh my God.
So, so I was kind of like learning a lot of things very, very quickly, like how to order vinyl and stuff like that. But it started off really slow. I think we were only 4 days from like 10 to 4 or something.
Yes, just a few hours
work-life
a day.
balance.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was rough.
And then it started to pick up again.
Yeah.
But it was,
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get more into the depressing portion of it a little bit, but I think I want to know, and a lot of other people want to know is let's talk about the history of Earl Hays. Like, since it is pretty much one of the oldest prop houses, if not the oldest prop house in the world.
Yeah.
So Earl Hays, it was started in 1915 by Earl Hays.
Yeah.
So he's a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not related to him. Everyone always thinks that he's like my great-great-grandfather. I'm not related to him.
Yeah.
But Earl Hays was a pressman and a typesetter by trade. And he started the company, and when he first started that company, it wasn't even for the film industry. He was just doing it in a Hollywood regular print shop.
Oh, really?
Small letterpress printing. He was doing like letterheads and envelopes and,
just for like anybody any companies.
People that would come to the door.
Printing company.
Yeah. So the first location of Earl Hays Press was actually on Sunset and
Las Palmas.
Las Palmas, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
in Hollywood.
He was founded by, which is interesting, he was actually founded by the Warner Brothers.
The original two brothers.
Yeah.
The one that started Warner Brothers company.
He was really
the actual Warner Brothers.
Before the Warner Brothers were the Warner Brothers.
Earl Hays was founded by the Warner Brothers.
So he was brought in.
And it was just because like they just wanted a couple little projects done by them, and they're like, oh, these guys they get it.
But they got to a point that they told him, they told Earl Hays, you know what? If you promise to work just for us, you're not open to the public anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how it started. Yeah.
I mean, this is pre-Warner Brothers, before they were even big. The studios were up or anything like that. So I think he was really close with Jack Warner.
Yeah. Yes.
I think he was really close with Jack Warner. So he started doing jobs for them. And that's kind of how it got started. And working on film productions, printing newspapers.
And what year was that? Was that like...
So I think that was 1920. around the 1920.
Yeah, so
yeah, because he was open about 5 years prior to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just started doing all these oddball jobs for them, you know. And this was even before, I think, prop masters.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like producers that were coming into the shop and ordering stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really interesting. And I think Jack was. I think he was the brother that everybody didn't like.
Yeah, he was the bad ones.
Oh, really?
Well, that's what they say. We don't know about it, but that's what they talk about it.
He helped give you guys some business.
It's actually a funny story now that I think about it. I've heard this story before, is that the Warner Brothers, I don't know how much of this was true.
Yeah.
But the Warner Brothers used to hide from their creditors at Earl Hays Press. Because that was back in the day when the loan sharks and the creditors would come around breaking your legs and stuff. You know, so they would go hide at Earl's place because he was a big guy. You know, Big Earl would keep him safe. You know
oh, really?
I mean? Yeah, so nobody would go in Earl's shop without, you know, Earl, you know. He was kind of like a bruiser, you know what I mean?
And they're just a vendor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So were they, do you know if they were, when they came with were they allowed to work for all the studios, or was it like literally just Warner Brothers?
That's how they started.
Yeah, it was just Warner Brothers. Yeah, for a while. And then I think...
And then they find out that they were doing for the studio, so other companies that started talking to Earl, doing business with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he was kind of the exclusive guy for the industry, so he shut down to the public, I think, 5 years after he opened. And it was just strictly production, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very interesting story.
And was it most stuff that you like do today? Like back then, do you know if they were doing like license plates and they're doing...
Actually, it was back then it was more newspapers, license plates, like passports and stuff like that.
A lot of passports. Yeah, a lot of letterheads, envelopes if they needed printed. I know they used to get their scripts printed there. A lot of cool stuff like that. Yeah. Similar to what we do now, but obviously we do a lot more.
It was done a lot differently back then.
A lot differently. Yeah, you're talking about typesetters. You know, you know, back in the day, you know, it's not like how it is today. Like you would have crazy prep time. You know what I mean?
Right.
You would have weeks and months to prep. So I mean, that's...
Oh, so they weren't calling and asking for stuff tomorrow like they do
same
today.
day. You know what I mean?
They used to come with a script. We have 3 months to do this movie. So here we go. We need newspapers. We need this. We need that. You got 2 months to do it. That was nice.
And that was easy. Yeah.
But back then, it was wasn't it a big process to make it like a newspaper?
Yeah, newspaper. You need to do the artwork first, and then send for a line cut. It will take like a week to get it back. It was a long process to do.
I would say about 3 weeks almost to get a newspaper back in the day. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
With the big presses and all this. Do you guys still have some of the original machinery that you had back then?
Yeah, we kept one of each of the old machines.
Yeah. And how often do they get used?
We still use them pretty often. I mean, there's stuff that computers cannot print, like ready-made folders with the clips and everything.
Yeah,
it has to be printed on a press.
It gets press printed.
Napkins as well. Have to be press printed.
The press print, I don't know. There's something with direct as a prop master and from a lot of directors that I worked with. I remember the first time we had just like I think we were doing a 1940s or 50s thing, and there was just a simple like typewriting letter or whatever, and I gave him like an example of what it would look like. He's like, the look is right, but he's like, I'm feeling on the paper, and I can feel it's not
printed on the paper.
It's not typed. You know what I mean? Like you need to feel the stamps.
You need the impression on it.
You need the impression on it, and like. I mean, I ended up just renting a typewriter, and because when you have a type, like you can't. It has to be perfect. So we make it like halfway through the letter and be like, shit.
I've done that a few times. We have a typewriter, and sometimes customers want things to be typewritten for the same reason.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I'm going so...
Oh, no.
You get to that last sentence.
That like scene in films where they're throwing up the sheets of paper into the bin. I'm like, that's kind of what it's like.
Yeah. But no, I mean, even doing that, like, it was a little bit frustrating in the moment. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I hate this director for a minute, but it makes you appreciate it a little bit more. You're like, I get it, though.
Yeah.
I understand. So it's kind of cool. Like, I'm curious, like, so if you guys have one of all machines, is there only like a couple people that actually know how to use it?
Yeah, literally Martin, and we have a pressman on call, Ralphie, that comes in. Yeah, but it's very, I mean, he's probably like the youngest pressman now, and he's in his 60s. Yeah. We use it all the time.
Yeah.
Even when we're printing our memorabilia, like it has to be printed the same way we did for the production. So we use the same plates, same ink, same process. Pretty much everything's the same,
Yeah.
Yeah, but times change.
Yeah.
We can print on a newspaper same day now. It's digital, and it's like
Right.
There's still a property master that they say, I need a newspaper, I need it to print it the way it was back then. I don't want a computer made.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
a print, I need the feel, I need to feel that it was printed on a press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we still have to do it.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much time they have.
Yeah.
No.
We're like, well, it's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks to get that
Yeah, I
newspaper
know.
finished.
It's
Just
like,
like,
Oh, you want it how it was done back then. It took
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's no way you put on a newspaper, you want to know 1-2 days. No?
Yeah, and just the setup alone.
Oh,
To set up a newspaper on the press, like
It's-
we have a big flatbed, what is it, Vandercook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vandercook flatbed press, and just the setup alone is like half a day.
Yeah.
Just to get
Yeah.
it right. I know you're messing up like 20 papers before you even get that. Get it
Oh,
right.
right.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
does it go through the same process? Like, do you need to like create it in art department first before it gets to you,
Yeah.
or is it like?
The press printed ones?
Yes.
Martin, I think, handles that from start
Yeah, I
to
mean,
finish.
it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the artwork still is designed in the art
They
department.
still
sent
can
out
design
for
it,
the cut.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah, sent
you're
out for
right.
the
That
plate.
is
Yeah,
true. Yeah, we do send the
Yeah.
cuts. You're right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a process, but it looks great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we appreciate a newspaper that's printed on the press.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, I don't know
You
if you
can tell
guys
the
can tell, like,
difference.
the regular person watching a film and is, I'm the worst person to watch a movie with because I'm pointing out everything in a movie, like, that's a hero shot on a plastic license plate. That should have been metal, and I'm just all this stuff. You know what I mean? And then the newspaper, it's. They mess up the era of the newspapers all the time, all the
Yeah.
sizes.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you'll see a modern day shoot with like a 7-column white news. The guy's reading a newspaper is this big on a modern day shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
LA
yeah,
Times
yeah.
is like 17 inches now. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this big,
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I did
21.12 by 22.
I did a show. I did an episode of a show that took place in like the 1700s, like early 1700s.
Yeah.
And I ordered a bunch off of eBay, like
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
1700s style, and it was like when it came in, it was. I mean, it looks different. There's like no doubt about like that look. I mean, and the size of it down to everything. I mean,
Yeah.
the paper is hard to tell because the paper's been aged so
Oh
much.
my god,
Yeah.
I mean, newspapers get aged like crazy. I mean, you leave them out for a day and under the lights, it's aged.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
know what I mean? But some people want that.
Yeah.
And they ask us to do that. They're like, oh, can you guys age this first? We're like, we're not aging it. You print it, leave it outside
Yeah.
for a few hours. It's going to age. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Leave it outside. So how did the company come over to you? What was the transfer of that?
So it was actually 3 or 4 owners before us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Earl ended up selling the company to Bill Bailey.
Bill Bailey.
And he had a business partner, which was Klein Lentz. And Klein Lentz was related to Idris Lentz, which was a famous costume. You know about it. You know that story. you know?
Yeah.
So he was actually, that was the brother of Idris.
Oh,
who used to
interesting.
own Earl Hays Press.
Irene?
Irene.
Yeah.
Irene Lentz, yeah. But it came down the line, Senior took over in 1968,
Yeah,
which was
he-
my
he-
grandfather.
Your grandfather and Paul
Yeah,
Cromrine.
Paul Cromrine, yeah.
They used to be workers for Mr. Bailey.
Yeah.
So when he retired, he sold the company to them.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Exactly. Yeah. So, even backtracking back to 1968, my grandfather used to work at LA Times, and what Earl would do, he would, this is kind of messed up, but he would go to LA Times and he would poach, pretty much, typesetters and pressmen.
Yeah?
He would stand back and watch to see which pressman and typesetter was the best.
They just let anybody in.
No one told he wouldn't tell anybody. He would just.
It's one of those things where they talk about people walking out of studios. If you walk with enough confidence, you can
Yes.
get
Yeah.
anywhere.
So yeah, that's exactly what happened. My grandfather had been working at LA Times for about 4 years, and he told me, he goes, this guy just walked in smoking a cigar and standing back and was watching us do, typesetting all day and press printing, and he just approached me at the end of the workday and was like, hey, would you ever want to work in the film industry, as a typesetter and a pressman? He goes, I'll pay you a lot better, and you don't have to work all these crazy hours, just come work for me. So yeah, he pretty much took him away from LA Times, 1968, and then what happened after that? It was Paul and Senior worked for Bailey because Earl ended up retiring.
Yes.
Yeah,
So he retired, and first, before he retired, he sold part of the company to them.
Yeah.
And then when he fully retired, they say, okay, you guys want to take over? He say, I'll sell you the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
And then he was owner all the way up until 2018 when we bought it. And then my father was an owner as well. And then unfortunately he passed away in 2017. And then Senior was full owner again. But at that time, Senior was already in his 80s. He couldn't do it no more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm tired.
Before that, your grandpa bought Paul. He had.
Oh, right.
Paul come right. He say, I'm going to retire. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to know anything about this. So you want to buy me? So Senior, his grandpa, bought his half.
Yeah.
So exactly. Then he sold it to his dad.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, then going through all these owners and stuff like that, did the way of doing things remain the same almost all the way through?
Almost all the way through.
So even through all these new owners,
Yes.
they had that understanding that
Yes.
we have a good thing going.
Yeah.
For over 100 years.
Yeah. Believe it or not, yeah.
That's awesome.
The same way pretty much. And then I think it was up until the late 90s when other prop houses started opening and opening art departments. And then it's like for years and years and years, we had no competition. There was
You were the
nobody.
one-stop shop.
It was that one-stop place to go for all your printing props.
Up to the 90s, it was a great company. I mean, because nobody else was doing what we were doing.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
But after that, a lot of competition came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the studios started
Yes.
opening up branches too.
Yeah, exactly. So so we had to, obviously keep up with the times. You know, you couldn't just be printing press printing anymore. You know what I mean? So we got to get in the digital world, getting computers and large format printers and all that kind of stuff. So it changed. It did change a little bit. I would say early 2000s is when the biggest change we had.
I mean, now we do like a lot of like food products that in the past they didn't used to make that.
Yeah, food products and passport. Well, we always made passports. IDs and money.
But like all the vinyl that we use nowadays.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
We use a lot of vinyl for a lot of things now, which back in the day we used to be like old school spray mount, paper spray mount.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? I think even when we did, we were looking up orders and stuff, and when we did the original Ghostbusters, all that stuff was like, it's printed on the press. It was sent out for the cuts. They were printed on the press, like we did the door skins for the Ecto 1.
Oh, cool.
It was printed on the press, cut out by hand, and spray mounted to the car. You know what I mean? It's not like how vinyl is now, you know what I mean? And we were shipping all that stuff to New York and stuff. Yeah,
things have gotten a lot easier, I guess.
Easier.
Yeah. So it's an interesting process. I mean, Kim could tell you. She knows.
It's cool. Like all these things that we've done over the past 100 years, like we still have a lot of these prints. So you can go upstairs and there's tons and tons of labels that don't have any text on them. So I think that's how I used to do it. So if you needed a peanut butter label, then you then typeset the peanut butter onto this graphic that already exists. So a lot of our designs still use those designs from, I don't know when, 100 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, if the labels are that old, were you able, was it hard to digitize all that stuff and just transfer it?
Oh, it's an ongoing process. We probably have like hundreds of thousands of prints and graphics.
Oh, really?
Millions, I would say millions.
So if you need like old prints, just go through our boxes upstairs.
Oh, really?
We have so many police paperwork, old passports.
Medical office paperwork.
Like vintage food labels that were, they're not just designed to look vintage. Like they were printed.
At that time.
At that time, and we just still have them. So.
Well, that's amazing.
It's interesting because we always talk about that. Like we get a lot of prop masters or decorators that come in and they're like, oh, can you guys send me some samples of paperwork from the 1940s for a medical office? And we're like, we have millions of them upstairs. I'm like, are you in the area? Just stop by. And it's like, we can't do that. They're like, you guys haven't digitized all this? And I'm just like, it's going to be a lifetime.
It's going to cost us a lot in labor.
Genuinely a lifetime of scanning everything in,
And then generally, we just don't have the time. We're always busy. We're always dealing with customers. And, and I'm putting orders together and stuff like that. So there's just no time. You know what I mean?
You have the paperwork, though. Do you have, like, blank stuff that's fillable that you can fill in?
Like already pre-printed, and you can go in and fill it up. You can even fill it by typewriter. And stuff like that, which is really good.
Like we have a lot of old like driver's licenses that are trimmed with a little extra space at the bottom, and that's so the typewriter can.
So you can fit it in a typewriter.
And you can type
That's
out.
really cool.
Yeah,
that's.
Because I was like, this isn't the shape of a driver's license. And one of you guys told me, oh, it's so it fits
was
into the
made
Trim it
typewriter.
down later.
So
So
I think that's one of my favorite things about the shop. Just like there's so much history, like graphic design history, and just like printing history there. Like, we have a lot of like paste ups, which was the graphic design before computers. Although I think ours did use some computer technology.
It was some,
as well.
some
like
technology,
vinyl
but used to use paste ups first.
Yeah, so that's like where you have a board and your artwork is literally on layers, like physical layers. So like Photoshop got, the terminology from this. So you'd have like your photo on one layer, your text on another, maybe a gradient on another layer.
And
we just have those all over the place.
Right.
And then we'd send them out to get, photographed, but a specific type of photography.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
I forget the
lithographed or something. Yeah,
like a stat photographer or something like that.
Yeah.
So then we also have those negatives. Just
Oh, we have millions of negatives.
So many old negatives and so many old printing cuts and so many old paste ups, and it's just. As like a graphic designer who loves history, I love.
That's what I was gonna say. It's probably like a historian's wet dream, just poking around your
shop.
And
you'll see, especially when I see paste ups of graphics that we still sell in our stock catalog. So like, there's a spray paint bottle that's got like a bunch of colors, and I found the paste up for that, and each color is on its own layer, and it's just like, wow, this is like now that would take 2 seconds to do in Illustrator, and. It must have taken so long. You have to painstakingly cut each thing. And,
not only that, you have to print it, wait a couple of days to dry, and then put another color and wait another 2 days.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
And you guys know how to do most of the old ways of doing the stuff.
In theory, I know how to do paste.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I mean. In theory, it's like anybody can get this stuff done if they understand the amount of time and labor it's going to take to pull it off.
Like all the period newspapers, we still print it on the press.
Yeah. Right.
All the newspapers.
Stock papers,
from the let's say from the early 1700s all the way to the 90s.
Yeah,
we have them printed on the press.
Yeah,
it's not computer printed.
No, it just takes 3 weeks.
And the plates we keep them in, in house. You know what I mean? We have all the printing plates in house, and they're huge. They're
all the cuts and everything is still sitting there every time. We run we don't have any more of the 1940s newspapers. We get the line cuts, put them on the press. Start printing like 100, maybe 200 of them. So they'll last, let's say, about 6 months. So
Martin, what's your history in getting involved in here? Where were you before all this?
Okay, I was working in a different printing company, and I was helping one of the pressmen that used to work at Earl Hays. And one time he told me, he said, "Would you like to work in our company?" He told me that by you going back. What do you mean I'm going back? Yeah, because you're working on offset printing right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to start working on letterpress. What do you mean? And I go, letterpress?
Yeah.
Letterpress, they're not using it anymore. I say, no, we still do it.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, so let's try it. So he brought me in, and I started working as a pressman. They have to teach me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about letterpress. I was working on offset presses, so I knew everything about offset presses. And then he said, okay, don't worry, this is easy. He teach me how to work on the presses.
Yeah.
So I started working as a pressman, and then after, years, he told me, you know everything about the company. Now I need you as a salesperson because it's about time for you to step up. I said, oh, thank you. So that's how I started. And then after so many years, his dad passed away. So senior, he told us if we can take over the company.
Yeah, he kind of gave us an ultimatum, to be honest with you. It was around like 2018, I believe, the beginning of 2018. He goes, if you guys don't take over the company, I'm done. I can't do this no more. He goes, we're shutting down in December of the year.
Whoa.
So it was just like, to us, it was like...
Because it was bad times.
Yeah, it was bad times. Yeah. So it was rough. We really had to step up our game.
This was in 2018 too?
2018, yeah.
Right before the...
the world ends.
So shoot me now.
So Martin and I got all our money together. We bought out senior, and it was just like, from there, it was just like, okay, how do we build a company? How do we get it modern? That was the biggest struggle for us, because this isn't a 100-year-old company that was doing everything the same for 100 years. So we had to bring everything almost into the 21st century. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buy new equipment, new computers, everything.
Yeah.
Even new graphic designers.
Yeah, we got a whole new art department. You know what I mean?
No, and catch up to what all the noob shops that are opening are just starting with.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Yeah.
Like they say, they renew or die.
Yeah.
That's all.
You have to, I mean, it's which is good now, because when I call you guys, they say, "Oh, do you have this?" The answer is always, "No, but our art department can start right now." We can start right now.
It's actually funny because sometimes we just lie and we're like, "Oh yeah, we have that." Start designing.
Start it right now. We'll send you what we have. Today.
Give us about an hour. We have it. Yeah, we're a little busy right now.
Just find the file.
Yeah, that's a secret, but but that's how we grow. That's how we grow our stock. I mean, our catalog has grown since Kim's been there, and then Carly and Derek. I mean, our catalog has tripled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, of all the modern day stock.
We have a lot of new designs that we haven't even put online yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm sure that'll come with like the shows going, because somebody's going to ask you to do something that's relatively ND for whatever they need, and then that can just go into your pile.
Exactly.
And that's how most of them are in the catalog in the first place. Like sometimes I wish someone wrote like, what was the production that this was first designed for?
Oh,
I feel like that's also
well, that's just saying 100 years from now, that would be, I mean, that's what will kind of be brought in history right there.
Like I think we have some old magazines that we designed for background magazines for Oppenheimer, but I don't think you actually see them in the movie.
No.
And so no one would ever know that they were designed for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll just sell them on our stock.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. Like even going back, like even thinking now, we get a lot of productions now. It's funny is that it's like period pieces. 1940s, 1920s, and that's like our specialty. We love that stuff.
Definitely.
Especially Kim. She
loves,
I
love it.
Yeah.
And like, there's actually someone who it was a scene in the past at someone was doing like a presentation for artwork for a comic book, and I was like, paste up. So like, I got this. Like, I'll separate all the layers, and it was because we have all those paste ups lying around.
Yeah.
So, I think also I sent the prop master the entire history of paste up.
Oh yeah.
Including a recommendation for a documentary he should watch.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, I think I went a bit overboard with that, but I love.
Do you know if he read it or watched it?
I think he just said, Kim seems like she knows what she's doing.
It's more of I trust you. Yeah.
You would know better than anyone. You don't have the time.
Well, how much prep do I have? Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's cool. So you guys, you'd said that you make a lot of like passports and IDs and money and stuff like that. Yeah. Has that what's the legality behind all of that?
Well, in money, I mean, our money, it doesn't have not even 1% of the real money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
that's on purpose.
Yeah.
And that's because we got in trouble in the past. So
I think every printing shop has got in trouble for that in the past.
Prop houses and printing shops. It trickles down to what I mean. But raids. You get police raids and stuff like that.
After the first raid, they told us, I mean, you cannot allow to do this and that on a money bill.
Yeah.
If you want to do a real money, it has to be 25% smaller or 75% bigger, something like that.
Yeah.
So Senior, he told the art department, you're going to create a money that looks like real money, but nothing.
Yeah, not even 1%.
Not even 1% of the real money.
Yeah.
So that's how we started, created our money.
Just to cover yourselves?
Yeah, just to cover, so we don't have any this problem anymore.
Yeah, because the first time that must have happened, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, that's not something that you even think about on your radar, right?
I think the first time Earl Hays got raided was for The Godfather.
Yeah.
And it was for the Cuban money, I think it was, because they were scanning.
So it wasn't even American money.
No, yeah, so it was the Cuban money, I believe, and they were scanning real Cuban money bills.
Right.
But money bills that were actually out of commission, pretty much. So they had been years that, not in flow anymore.
Right.
So they were scanning real Cuban money and printing it, and we sent it to the production. And I think that's when we got in trouble. That was the first raid. And
now you can't even scan them.
No, you cannot.
The scanner won't do it.
No,
I was going to say, they're all...
Nowadays, you cannot scan money.
Yeah.
So now recreating like new bills, you just have to use a reference and then recreate it. So then it'll look like the bill, but 0% will be actually taken from the actual bill.
Yeah. And that's kind of getting harder and harder as a prop master too, because directors want
something that looks like the real thing.
They want it because for the actors, it needs to feel real, look real, be able to flip through it enough to. What you hear about some directors like pulling out $1 million of real cash just to like have on the thing.
I mean, if you want, you can use real money.
You can use real money on set,
You don't want to hear about the stories how the money disappeared like magic on the set.
God, no. It's. I just did a show where we had to pull out for a scene $12,000, $15,000 in cash because they're like, I want real money, and it's like, okay, fine. So I give it to my prop assist, and it's like, okay, like count every set the minute it leaves your hand, and then it gets back in your hand, and it came back and. He's like, there's $500 missing.
Oh, my God.
You were lucky because sometimes the whole money disappears.
Oh, yeah.
I hear stories about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the UPM was telling us a story about, like, they went to, like, do, like, an interview, and it was, like, a kind of reality meets, like, scripted, but with O.J. Simpson to try to, like, like, back in the day to try to, like, get him to admit, like, the killings or something like that. And they pulled out, like $200,000 in real cash, and they like put it in front of him. They're like, "I'll give you this if you'd like to try to like encourage him." And they said by the time they got back, there was $4,000 of it missing. Wow! Like, well, I was like, "What happened to it?" Like, well, I never figured it out. I can have a couple guesses, but
that's all you can say.
Yeah. Prop money is interesting because we try to be super careful because we have been raided, and we've also actually been raided from, other prop houses getting in trouble and then them coming to us.
So they'll go to a different prop house and they're like, let's just hit them all?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because if they come, production got money from different companies.
Yeah.
So if they got in trouble, so they have to find out where that money came from. So even though at the last time with the rush hour, they came out to us, but they say it's not your money. Yeah, it's somebody else's money. So, but they have to come over because of the investigation of the.
Do you know what the whole rush hour? I've heard rumors of the rush hour story, and I know that was like a big trigger in the money, the prop money thing.
It went crazy after that. Yeah.
Do you know what the whole story was?
I know that it was the special effects when they blew the money in the casino.
Yeah, that money is supposed to be inside the room in a hotel. Yeah. It was the whole thing is supposed to be inside the. That's what I hear. I don't know if it's true or not, but they say that the director, no, I want to make it more realistic, so we're gonna blow the money out.
Yeah, when the casino blows, the money's gonna blow.
So the money went into the street.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Yeah.
They didn't think about that because it's like it's money. It doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah.
So when special effects and they did the explosion with the casino and it started trickling down the boulevard, people were picking it up. It's prop money. You could tell it's fake money, but people start passing it through casinos with real money on top. You get in trouble. Yeah. So that's a big no-no.
Say this is big time. So
yeah. So I think it was after rush hour we stopped keeping money plates in the shop because when they come and raid you, they have the whole art department team. They make everyone go wait outside.
Oh, right.
So we're all in the back parking lot and they're going through the shop and they take the artwork, they go through the computers, they take all your money stock, and then they take the printing plates of the money. So that's a big no. Yeah.
They take the artwork, the necks, the plates, the money, everything. Yeah.
So
I mean that was the first time that happened at the company, but all the rates is because other companies' money, not because of ours.
Yeah.
Because like I said again, our money doesn't have not even 1% of the real money.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you see other company money, I say, oh my God.
Yeah. It's
they
scary.
only change the number, they are 100, but they leave everything else the same.
Yeah.
That's counterfeiting. I mean, that's not.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, well, now a lot of them will tell you, a lot of prop houses will tell you just either go to like moviemoney.com or something like that.
They have great money.
Oh my God.
Yeah, their money looks perfect.
It's like real money.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. I wonder how they get away with that, though, to be honest.
Well, they haven't got
and they have a website that you could just freely order.
Once they get in trouble, if somebody tried to use that money, the Secret Service is going to go over them.
I don't know, man. It seems like I see it everywhere now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's two companies I think that does it really well.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're out of the country and they're just shipping it over from out of the country.
No.
There has to be some legality.
And you see, a lot of the prop houses, too, a lot of other prop houses, if you want to rent money, they don't have it on their stock. You literally need to have a relationship with either the prop house for them to even let you know that they have money at this point.
I know.
Because otherwise it's just hush hush.
Yeah. And that happens
funny.
even like that, right?
Yeah.
It is funny how close prop design is to counterfeiting.
I mean, it is. That's what I was saying. Like it's crazy with the IDs. Some of the ones you get or whatever. I've gotten IDs and then it's just been like, oh, it's got to look more real because the director says. They're like, well, it's gotta.
Yeah.
We can, but there's some legality things there. You know what I mean? It's like it can't be something that could pass off to get into places and to use for stuff like that.
I mean, we could get real close.
Oh my god,
we can get close.
So is there less legality? Like you ain't gonna get rated for IDs and passports?
I don't think we ever have.
No, for that, no, because again, I mean, our stuff we never copy anything. It looks like the real.
Oh,
like
totally.
The real
Yeah,
thing,
if
but
you're
it's
flashing
not.
on screen, it's gonna look like the
but
real
also
thing.
the quality looks better if you just recreate it from scratch because
Yeah.
there's all those literally the things. The reason they make IDs with all those crisscrossing lines and gradients is because it's really, really hard to copy it exactly.
Oh, right.
It's so hard. You're like, well, this is literally they're trying to stop exactly what I'm doing right now. So if you just recreate it from scratch, you kind of do the lines in a similar way. It's not going to be the exact pattern.
Totally.
But it'll actually look better anyway. And
Yeah.
also will be, if you look up close, distinct from an actual ID. So
Right.
therefore it's different enough that no one's actually going to mistake it for a real one side by side.
And for nowadays for clearance, I mean, you got to be careful to what you do.
Yeah, and the prop masters don't want it to look too real, usually,
Right.
Because
Yeah.
then it doesn't go through clearance. So,
Right, totally. So I want to talk about, you guys have which before I got into the film industry, before I moved out here, I used to be, still am. I'm big on Reddit and stuff like that. But
nice.
you guys have one of the most the most reoccurring prop in film history, which is the famous newspaper.
Famous reoccurring newspaper.
The famous reoccurring newspaper, and it's been on everything for the past 50 years or so.
Probably even more.
Probably even more.
Yeah.
Can you tell the story about this newspaper? Like, what's the history of this newspaper and how it became?
I think that
It was just a regular
newspaper. It was a stock newspaper.
It was a stock newspaper. So
That just everything's cleared on it.
I mean, they wanted a newspaper, but we need an inside page with generic stuff. So they made up a page, took a picture of one of the pressman's daughters.
That's the
and put them
pressman's
in there.
daughter.
That's the pressman's
Yeah.
daughter.
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
a regular.
Like that picture's just from like the back room. Just
That's just like laying around.
Yeah, basically what it is like the hero stuff is almost always going to be on the front page.
yeah.
And then the back page is going to be like
Just a
weather.
generic stuff.
And then
Generic
you
type.
need to, if you're holding a newspaper, you can tell if nothing's printed on the other side,
Yeah.
depending on the way the actor's holding it. So, yeah, you just need to print something on the other side. So it was just we call that size a 6 column.
Yeah.
And I guess people were ordering a lot of newspapers then, so our filler copy and our filler.
Interesting enough, they would use that as a front page, even though it is an
Yeah.
inside. It was created as an inside filler page, so you would see it like you can see it on like Married with Children,
Yeah.
and then you see it later on Modern Family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
There was when I first started at Earl Hays. I saw the file. We literally call it Famous Newspaper. That's the name of the digital file. And I was telling a customer was ordering it, and for some reason I thought someone like wouldn't want a famous. So I was like, oh, by the way, this one, is kind of famous. And they're like, oh yeah, I want that. Let's do that one. I'm like, oh okay. I'm still learning.
No, that's actually like I like almost the lure of it. Like I kind of like to keep it going as a prop master. It's like I would like to put it in as much as I can.
It's like kind of like the
anytime
Wilhelm
they're like,
script
oh,
or
we just
something.
need to put a newspaper in their hand. It's always going to be that one.
Yeah.
So it's like if I ever come by and was like, I need more newspaper, just give me 40 more of those.
We sell that newspaper so much to this
Yeah.
day. The amount of people that order that newspaper for their production, I'm just like, God, it's just gonna keep going and going because there's so many fans that send us, I just seen this in this production and this production. I'm like, that's super cool. Just add it to the list.
Yeah.
It's been sitting in thousands of productions.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Somebody made a collage, I think, on Reddit of all the the shots with
somebody
all the
got the
labels.
time to do that. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like hundreds. There's hundreds, and it's like I said, everything from the past 50 years to like the most modern thing that's been shooting now. It's just in everything.
And then they get reporters on that, like, trying to find out who's that girl in the photo and who's the other guy with that top hat. That's like, guy with the top hat is Earl Hays.
Oh,
and then
nice.
the girl was just like some pressman's daughter, just had the photo, so it was super funny.
And whose burning building was that?
It was just a
stock photo. I was digitizing it recently so that we can, if someone needs like a
amazing.
6-column filler, and I was like, is this sacrilegious? Like,
no,
sure.
Modernize it, put it in.
Yeah,
it could be on an online news article.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. But so then naturally it just did it on its own. It's just
its own.
Every
time.
anything.
Yeah.
You just
started
gave
like
it
a regular page, and now it's the most famous newspaper in the world.
It's almost like going to like Morley cigarettes. You see it in everything. People just want a pack of Morleys. I'm a pack of Morleys for the background. The guy's holding a pack of Morleys. You know what I mean? I feel like Morley's is just as famous as this reoccurring newspaper. I see it everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even going back to Morley's, it's like a lot of people have this misconception that we made it for X-Files.
Yeah.
Morley's was made in the
older.
40s.
In the 40s?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking... You can see packs of Morleys in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting. They made that for X-Files, and it was just like, nah.
X-Files made it famous.
They made it famous. They blew it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So going back to like even the reoccurring newspaper, it just happened. It's just a stock item that happened.
Right.
Yeah, and we just had it available.
Yeah, and with Morley's or whatever because back then cigarettes were probably not that hard to clear. Are they hard to clear now? To clear cigarettes.
We still sign releases for cigarettes, but they're cleared. We own the rights to Morley, and we own the rights to actually all of our cigarette brands. So we'll sign a release on it, and that's good enough.
Yeah. You guys signed a release, so we could talk about COVID and everything. You guys bought the company, right? And then you started. And immediately COVID happened.
Oh, yeah.
Which was probably tough.
It was, yeah.
Nobody...
I almost had a heart attack. I mean.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It was a hard pill to swallow on that one. Because we just had bought the company. We were buying all this equipment. 2019 rolls around.
You were modernizing it. So you were investing more and more money in it.
The amount of money we spent in our arts department buying all this new equipment and buying, cut vinyl machines and this and that and computers. And then COVID happens, and you can't control it, and it was tough. It was really tough, and then we couldn't open up the shop. We couldn't go there, couldn't be there for months and months and months, and then finally we got the call to come back. So, yeah.
And then when it came back, though, I mean, it was for me. I went from I left the industry for a minute, but then I came back when things started heating up, and then I probably had the best couple years of my life.
Oh yeah, it happened to us too.
Yeah,
2020, end of 2020, 21, and 22 were probably the best years that we've ever had at Earl Hays. I mean, we were just slammed.
So a hard pit moment to blasting up.
Yeah. And then, reality kicks in, and here's a strike, rumors of a strike in end of 2022, because I think that's when we started calming down, 2022. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, the strike happened, and I think it was March or something like that, right?
May.
Was it May?
Yeah, May. Beginning of May. May 2nd.
Something like
that.
All
the way to November.
Yeah. So it was rough.
Yeah.
And still working off a little bit of that, too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
When people are scared that there's going to be another strike and this, and rumors, just the rumors starting up, it just will shut down the whole industry.
And a lot of vendors did close their doors for
a lot of companies.
It's very unfortunate, man. Yeah. Our hearts were with them, you know what I mean? We know so many people that shut down, and people left the industry, prop masters left the industry. And totally out of the industry, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was really depressing, man.
No, yeah, with all that, and then so I noticed during that, and one thing that may have saved you guys is you guys have rights to a lot of classic prop memorabilia and stuff.
Yes. We do, and that really saved our butt.
Yeah. So talk a little bit more about that.
So we linked up with a gentleman named Michael Corey. He does props to history. John Harrington actually brought him in our shop to introduce us.
Awesome.
Yeah, so thank you, John. So he brought him in, and he goes, "Hey, I got downtime. Would you guys mind if I start going through your archives? We've never done that. We honestly,
we don't have time for that.
We don't have the time, and we don't know what's in the shop. Yeah. So
there's just hundreds of boxes upstairs.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands. I mean, we have a storage, and it's full of cuts. And he's like, I'll go through all of your stuff. He goes,
all of it.
He goes, I'll start going through all of it. If I find anything, valuable and rare, or maybe we can get this reprinted, and that will be like our thing. You know what I mean? Start reprinting all these really cool props. So I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. So he was flying down from Chicago for a few weeks at a time, and he would just go through our shop, him and his assistant, Christy. And, it was just one of those things. We just started finding all this really cool memorabilia.
Yeah.
And he started finding, like, the cuts from Blade Runner, Rick Deckard's ID badge from Blade Runner. He found so much. He started finding original stuff from Casablanca.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, he found the letter of transit that we had, original print production made letter of transit for Casablanca.
Wow.
And one Vichy water label from Casablanca.
Whoa.
So
passport too.
Passport. That came a little later. We got really happy on that one. We discovered the production made Victor Laszlo passport.
Oh,
for Casablanca.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
So like,
that was
still
a big
real
deal.
classic.
That was so cool.
That was.
Yeah.
Like,
where was that? Just you said that was just sitting in a
It was
box.
sitting
in
upstairs.
Upstairs.
It was actually a customer that found that one.
Yeah.
It was a customer that was shopping upstairs, and they go, "Hey, I just found this passport." And brought the box down. We're like, "Oh yeah, we knew that was there. Yeah. Let me see." So we're like, yeah. So that was just like a random. That's how it happens sometimes at Earl Hays. There's a story of one of our pressmen that was. We have air ducts in our building, and he was upstairs cleaning the air ducts, kicking all the dirt and trash down from the air ducts, and he goes, "Hey, there's a big roll here. I don't know, it fell over and it's inside the air duct. I'm gonna push it down with the broom." And he had pushed it down with the broom, and in the roll we opened it, and it was all the original artwork and all the original prints from the flux capacitor from Back to the Future.
Oh,
yeah, I'm talking hundreds of them. Yeah, even with the masters in it. And we're just like...
The artwork, the
artwork,
prints, everything was there.
Yeah, with the paste ups and the onion board. It was just like, what the... So it's just like... It's like a treasure trove at Earl Hays. So, yeah, we had Michael Corey going through the whole shop and finding all these really cool props that we just started reprinting and selling, and it blew up, We were lucky enough to have... caught the attention from Adam Savage, and he
very cool.
Yeah, he had his YouTube series called Tested, and he did about 7 or 8 episodes right at the shop.
I think so.
7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah,
honestly, it might have been a few more than that. He came in twice.
Yeah. And he just cheesed super hard off of everything.
Man.
Yeah.
That dude was in heaven.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a video with him the second time he came. I got COVID.
Oh no!
So no video.
Kim did a bunch of research for that episode with Adam Savage about the Victor Laszlo passport, where we're gonna recreate it on camera, and we did.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Kim was out sick, so Carly stepped in and did it.
Yeah.
But that was a really cool episode. If you guys haven't had a chance to watch that one.
Yeah.
Because they're using a production made sample of that Victor Laszlo passport, that French passport.
So we had the actual passport, and it was made in the 40s. The 40s, right?
Yeah, it's 40s,
and it was slightly different from the actual French passport at the time, because at the time it had to be cleared.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be exactly the same. And they were built with all the handwriting and stickers and stuff on them, and then there were, I think, 3 sheets of paper that were just still blank.
Yeah.
So I could scan those in, and that was it. That's all we had left from like this 1940s paper.
Yeah.
And so
we actually
were able
had
to
a real one though, didn't we? We had a real
French. We have a real French
because back in the day,
it was there too in the
we
box.
had to reach out to the embassies to get the samples of real passports, and the embassies would send it to us.
They would just send you a blank passport?
They would literally send it. And
God.
Back then, it was easy to get stuff, a sample from everywhere.
Yeah.
Even,
is that because people wouldn't try to counterfeit as much, or do...
No,
like,
after 9/11, everything changed.
Oh, yeah, it did.
I mean, like a research for license plate, we used to send a letter to every DMV in every state. For a sample, they'll used to send us a sample of that plate. No problem, just like that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they don't nothing.
They don't try to help you.
No.
But I mean, we got Google.
Yeah.
We know what a license plate.
Yeah, but in the past, you used to get from the DMV used to have a sample plate plus all the history of the plate, the colors, the what do you call the registration tabs, everything from the DMV. Now you call the DMV, they go. No. Back in the days, it was easy to get all the research.
Yeah.
And we still have a lot of the documents that people would send us. We have filing cabinets of clearly we had sent out to some embassy somewhere asking for samples of photos of some historical figure or something, or and they'd respond saying, you know, thank you for your interest. And these letters from these embassies will be from like 1950s, 1930s. We have some stuff even before the shop was open. We must have gotten from somewhere. So if someone, I've gone through all those, and like there's so much like design research you can do there. It's like a museum library that you can go through.
Well, you want to open a museum at the shop?
I do.
She's so adamant about opening a
I mean, if
museum.
you keep finding all this stuff, and especially if it's originals, like it sounds like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of like historic things. Like you could actually, you could have a Hollywood museum pretty much coming out of props.
I mean, we get a lot of people always hitting us up, emailing us, or calling us. Hey, I'm in the, I seen a video of you guys. I know the history of Earl Hays. Can I come by and just walk? I'm not in the industry. I just heard about you guys. Can I please? And we're in town. Can we come through the shop and go through it? And I'm like, sometimes we're like, okay, come by. You know. Sometimes they tie up our days a little bit. But we're like, come by. So maybe in the future we'll open a little exhibit of Earl Hays or something. I don't know.
Oh, especially it's like stuff like that. It's like you guys you did the original license plates for Back to the Future and
Ghostbusters.
You said Ghostbusters too.
One,
And you guys still have the presses, and those are one things that you're selling too as
memorabilia.
As memorabilia, right?
Yeah. We do a lot of the license plates. We just redid the Dukes of Hazzard license plate because we got it. Everybody was asking for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we did the Dukes of Hazzard plate.
One thing that I would like to mention that all these memorabilia, when we sell a license plate, we make it the same way it was made back then.
Right. So, it's not the one you get on Hollywood Boulevard.
And we got a few people complaining about it that this letter looks a little bit crooked. I mean, the line is a little bit. We make it by hand, exactly the same way that it was made back then. So it gotta have a little defects on it. So it make it look like a real one. Like it was made back then.
And what's the process of doing that?
Oh man. It's an old school way of doing it.
We gotta paint the plate, die cut the numbers, paint the numbers, and do it on the press, and then paste the numbers and put a lot of clear. And everything is done by hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a baking process too. There's a baking process, so it's not fast. No. We honestly we couldn't keep up with demand of how many people wanted to order these plates, and there was a wait. I mean, God, some of these poor people had to wait 3-4 months.
I mean, when you make the plate, it takes time to make it, time for drying, and it's a process.
It's a big process. But they want it. If you want it accurate to what we did back in the day, that's how it's going to be. You know what I mean?
I mean, like the Back to the Future, the background, the what do you call it?
The sunburst.
The sunburst.
Yeah.
We can make it on the background. We can make it on the computer, but no, we still print it on the press like it was done back then.
Right.
With old vinyl. With line cuts, printed one color at a time. Exactly the same.
I mean, as a prop people, we know that most of the new plates are done. We just do the plastic ones, right?
Yeah.
And that one's probably a lot easier, right?
That's fast because we could vacuum form it. We could paint it quick, and even the fastest way we do it now is like a UV print on metal.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, we can have a license plate in 5 minutes if we really wanted to. On metal.
If it's flat.
If it's flat, it's flat. But that's a lot of these prop guys now are just like, I don't have the time. I need it today. Give it to me flat. I don't care.
But we have a couple of property masters, old timers, that they say. One time, he said, I got in big trouble with the director. I put a plastic license plate that it was burned. So you can see the license plate shrinking. He said, I got in big trouble with that. Since then, I never buy another plastic license plate.
Is that for like where a car's in a stunt or something?
Stunt cars.
But so you need a metal plate so it doesn't burn. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Does the ink? Does burning the real ones do it? Like, will the ink shrivel or do anything?
Well, because I think they have a coating on it.
Yeah,
right?
The metal has a lot of clear on it, so it won't burn.
It's pretty durable. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, I won't keep you guys too much longer, but I wanted to ask one more question, and that is, do you have any like stories or like a prop that you did from any time going back in the history of Earl Hays that like kind of sticks out in your mind? That's
oh man, there's so many.
I know.
There's so many. God, I'm trying to think. I mean, my favorite props were when we did Godfather, all the Godfathers, all the newspapers, and we did all the passports and IDs and the money and all that kind of stuff. Is really cool. That really stands out to me. But I think you have more of a favorite one recently, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. I don't even know which one you're referring to. Honestly, making that paste up was pretty fun because it involved like doing history research.
I think the most challenging one we had recently, though, is when we were helping out the late Phil Shea and Guillaume when we were doing Oppenheimer. The level of detail between those two, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
They were at our shop, literally going through paper stock. I need 1940s paper. I mean, they were going, I mean, it was the detail. We had to create this custom diploma certificate holder, bind it on leather, and I mean, but they don't have back in the day, there was like this special huge size, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a large certificate, so they needed a custom certificate holder.
Oh.
So yeah, we did a lot of research on how to get that done.
That was a headache. That was a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made a couple prototypes that Phil didn't like, and we had we eventually had brought in a binder, and we created this beautiful, oh my God,
a book binder.
Yeah, book binder. To help us create this beautiful leather-bound certificate holder, which is a hero I mean, you see him opening Cillian Murphy. He opens it on the podium. I mean, we were just so proud of that moment. We all went to the movie theater all together to go see. We just wanted to see that one shot because we lost some hair. You know, we got some gray hair doing that prop for like 3 weeks with Phil.
Oh my God! Yeah. That was a process.
It was a process, man. But we love it because the level of detail that went into that film. I mean,
it was so beautiful. It was so perfect. I mean,
that film was very well done.
Yeah.
And we just appreciate the level of detail. You know what I mean? You know that it took to make that.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a lot of printing.
Shout out to their graphic designer, Hilary Armenta.
Oh yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
Do you guys work with a lot of like staffed up graphic designers on shows?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh,
yeah. They send us artwork, or they'll have us sometimes. They'll say, "Hey, I need help, you know, to do this artwork." So we'll send it to our art department. We'll fix it and print it for them and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all the freelance artists out there. And we know it's a struggle, you know, right now, but you know, we appreciate all the artwork that comes through even sometimes when it's not the best. We will receive artwork sometimes and we're just like, I don't think this person has ever seen a newspaper before. Let me just recreate the whole thing, you know.
Like, here's another option if you're interested.
This is what a real newspaper looks like.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
But yeah, I think those painstaking long processes that are ultra detailed, those are the ones that like it's stressed out in the moment, but the ones you're most always proud of. You know, those are the things that always stick out. That's what's gonna make you better, no matter what.
Yeah, I remember Phil. You know, rest in peace, Phil. He would always he'd call me on the phone, even on the weekend. Keith, this I'm in a rush. I need this on Monday. Can you guys come open the shop over the weekend? I'm like, okay, Phil. Yeah, I'll help you out, buddy. He goes, Keith, you got to remember this is for Christopher Nolan. This is for Christopher Nolan, Keith. You got to remember this film's for Christopher Nolan. And I'm like, I know, Phil. I got you, buddy. I swear. I understand the importance of this. You know, so he would always crack us up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
With the Godfather props, you still have those?
God, unfortunately, Paul threw away a lot of that. Yeah,
throw away.
One of the previous owners back in the day, unfortunately, that was one of the main things that we had Michael Corey in there for, is we wanted to find all the original newspapers, because I don't know, you remember in the first one, the newspapers would spin on the screen and it would be like that was all our papers, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're still trying to find the cuts, and you know, if we could piece it together, we're just going to reprint it for memorabilia. But, I mean, we probably have a few things here and there, you know what I mean? But our holy grail, it was that Victor Laszlo passport. I mean, that was like, oh my God, you know, something survived from Casablanca, you know, and we get people all the time saying, hey, I heard that you guys printed this for this production back in the 40s and 50s. Do you have samples of it? I'm just like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't.
Sometimes we do.
You still have the Victor that passport?
We have, so we have a sample of the...
I don't think it has a photo.
It doesn't have the photo. The one that we had that was Hero, unfortunately, because of the strike.
You had to sell?
We had to sell, yeah, unfortunately.
Fortunately, it saved you.
It did.
It was hard, but then, like, I was thinking, like, you know, it's cool that it existed.
The water label.
Yeah, we still have it. We still have the original Vichy water label, and we still have the original the letter of transit, which recently we had Warner Brothers Archives come to the shop, and they just wanted to see it. They're just so stoked on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Yeah, maybe one day it would end up there. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's also other stuff that Mike Corey found. We have a bunch of, I mean, you probably already knew about it, but a bunch of just old, like, travel posters. And, and just so many.
Thousands.
So many.
Originals.
And they're not props.
Yeah.
But
They're original ones.
Yeah.
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 But some of them back in the day were obviously used in movies because they'll have, like, these are posters from, like, 1930s.
Right.
But they'll have the dates painted over.
Yeah.
So that they can become generic.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah. Well, having these real life references, I mean, you can't get much better than that, right?
You can. You know, the level of research that we have at Earl Hays. I mean, we find stuff all the time, and then we'll try to go Google it or look for it online. There's no sample of it. You know.
Or sometimes I'll try and search to see if an old print is real or not, and I'll find our prints being sold on eBay as if they're real. And I'm like, oh no, that's exactly that's ours. That's not real.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, thank you guys for coming over today and sitting down and joining us. I know we've been trying to get you guys in here for a while.
I know. Finally, I mean,
sorry about that.
It's totally cool.
Yeah,
we're here now. And we got this in, and I'm happy we did. You guys have a lot of really good stories, and I mean, Earl Hays is a Hollywood staple. So
it is, yeah. And we hope to be around for another 100 years. But let's hope.
I mean, the company, not us.
Yeah, no. I hopefully we're at the tail end of this hard times.
Yeah.
And we were talking before we came in. We're ready for TV to come back.
Yes.
This town needs more TV again.
Yeah.
It's all our bread and butter. So, I appreciate you guys. Couple things I wanted to talk about before we head out, and that is we have the first ever Property Masters Award show coming out. The PMG Awards, the MacGuffin Awards, is going to be taking place September 14th. Did you guys see all the nominees and stuff like that?
Congratulations to all of them. Yeah,
right?
Those are some amazing projects. Yeah.
Some amazing projects, some amazing prop masters being honored for the first time. So, I don't know, it feels that once the nominees were announced, seeing Facebook and the social media kind of light up, and I don't know, there was a glimmer in the air that day. There was a lot of happy people coming together from all over the world. There was a lot of good prop masters from England, from New York, from Chicago, literally everywhere, and I think they're all pretty well deserved. So I'm excited to go to an event and be able to watch these, watch some winners. The first ever award-winning Property Masters.
Nice.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, it was good. I was walking past a bunch of trailers and. The day they were announced and seeing, I ran into Jeff Johnson and I was like, oh, hey, award-nominated product. Some stuff you never get to say. So, tickets are still available if you go over to MacGuffinAwards.com, and then you can purchase your tickets there. You can see the nominees there also. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be at the Belasco Theater. It's going to be open bar. Awesome times.
We'll be there.
There'll be an after party. Oh yeah, you guys always bring a lot of fun. Your guys' booth at the tailgate party was next level.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you saying that.
Kim did a lot of design for that.
We had a lot of fun with you guys there.
We appreciate it, and then thank you guys for the PMG. For doing what you guys are doing now. This
is great for all the property masters.
Oh my god.
It's nice to see you guys actually recognized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For all the amazing stuff you guys do, and I don't think you guys are appreciated enough, man.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about, is uplifting our craft and bringing us together. I mean, and we're nothing without our vendors either. So that's what I'm saying. You guys are trying to get them all lifted up with us, and you guys come out to support us too all the time, which is fantastic. So pumped about that. So go to award show. That's all. If this is your first time listening, make sure you subscribe, do all that stuff. If you want to know more information on the Property Masters Guild, go to propertymastersguild.org. Make sure, like I said, we're on YouTube and stuff like that. You can message us at propertymastersguild.org. Send a message if you have any questions for us here at the show. If you want to apply, you can do it all on that website. So, I think that's it. Until next time.